The rain fell in a relentless torrent, drenching the earth and sending rivulets of muddy water coursing down the narrow road that led to Ashford House. The mansion was a looming shadow on the horizon, an ancient and foreboding structure that had stood for generations. Its decaying facade was a testament to the passage of time, and its history was steeped in darkness. It was a house that the townsfolk spoke of in hushed tones, a place where the veil between the living and the dead was said to be dangerously thin. It was rumored to be haunted by restless spirits, trapped within its walls for eternity. Those who ventured inside spoke of strange apparitions, eerie sounds, and a suffocating malevolence that seemed to permeate the very air. Helen had always been drawn to the supernatural. She had spent her life investigating the unexplained, seeking out the unknown and unearthing the secrets of the paranormal. When she received a letter from a distant relative, informing her of her inheritance of Ashford House, she saw it as an opportunity to explore her passion and unlock the mysteries that had shrouded the mansion for centuries. As she stood at the foot of the mansion's grand entrance, she felt a sense of trepidation. The heavy oak doors groaned in protest as she pushed them open, revealing a dimly lit foyer. The air was heavy and still, and a musty scent filled her nostrils. The grand chandeliers that once illuminated the entrance hall were now dim and lifeless. Helen's exploration of the mansion began in the parlor, a room that had once been filled with the laughter and music of its inhabitants. The furniture was draped in dusty sheets, and cobwebs clung to the ornate walls. She shivered as a chill passed through her, and a feeling of being watched sent a shiver down her spine. Her flashlight revealed a grand piano in the corner, its keys cracked and yellowed with age. As she approached, the room was filled with an eerie melody, the piano playing itself, the keys moving of their own accord. Helen stumbled back, her heart racing as the music grew louder and more dissonant, filling the room with an otherworldly cacophony. The parlor's walls seemed to close in on her, and she fled the room, the haunting music still echoing in her ears. As she continued to explore the mansion, she encountered locked doors that seemed to open on their own and strange apparitions that vanished as quickly as they appeared. Helen's investigations led her to the library, a vast chamber filled with dusty tomes and ancient manuscripts. She had heard that it was the most haunted room in the mansion, and she was eager to uncover its secrets. The room was filled with an oppressive silence, and the air was thick with the weight of centuries. As she scanned the shelves, her flashlight illuminated an old, leather-bound book. Its pages were filled with incomprehensible symbols and drawings of grotesque creatures. The book seemed to pulse with an eerie energy, and as she reached out to touch it, it snapped shut with a deafening thud. The room was plunged into darkness, and Helen felt a presence near her. She fumbled for her flashlight and turned it on, revealing a ghostly figure in the corner. The specter had hollow eyes and a twisted, malevolent grin. It reached out to her, and Helen felt an icy grip on her shoulder. With a scream, she fled the library, her heart pounding in her chest. The mansion had shown its true nature, and she was no longer a mere observer. She was trapped in a nightmare, with no escape in sight. As she continued to explore the mansion, the malevolent forces within seemed to grow more aggressive. Doors slammed shut, and eerie whispers filled the air. Helen's flashlight flickered and died, leaving her in pitch-black darkness. She stumbled through the corridor, her footsteps echoing through the silent mansion. A strange, ethereal light drew her to the basement. The steps were steep and rickety, and she descended into the abyss with trepidation. The basement was a labyrinth of shadows, and a sense of foreboding hung in the air. Helen's flashlight revealed a series of old, rusted cages, their doors hanging open. The cages seemed to have held something something that was no longer there. As she ventured deeper into the basement, she came across a hidden chamber, its walls adorned with eerie symbols and strange, arcane drawings. The room exuded a malevolent energy, and as Helen stepped inside, the symbols on the walls seemed to come to life, pulsing with an otherworldly light. The air grew cold, and a sinister presence enveloped her. A figure materialized before her, a grotesque and twisted specter with hollow eyes. It spoke in a voice that seemed to echo from the depths of the abyss, revealing a dark and malevolent history of the mansion. The figure was a tormented soul, a victim of the mansion's dark past, and it sought retribution for the horrors it had endured. Helen's heart raced as the figure drew nearer, its icy grip closing in on her. She had to escape the basement, to flee the horrors that lurked within the mansion's depths. With every ounce of strength, she turned and ran, her footsteps echoing through the darkness as she ascended the steep staircase. The mansion seemed to fight against her escape, its doors slamming shut and the very walls seeming to close in on her. The malevolent entity pursued her, its ghastly presence hot on her heels. She burst through the front entrance, gasping for breath as she stumbled into the pouring rain. The mansion loomed behind her, a shadowy and foreboding presence, and the malevolent entity remained trapped within its walls. Helen had survived, but the horror of Ashford House would forever haunt her, a reminder that some secrets are best left buried, and that there are places where the line between the living and the dead is dangerously thin.